Hey everybody, Pooja Chilukuri with Pooja Chilukuri Nutrition and Health, and your host for the Wellness Education Series, Be Made Whole. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Debbie Orol. Debbie has been practicing as a registered nurse for over 25 years. She saw a system of sick care rather than health care. Debbie realized the role lifestyle plays in our health and went on to obtain her health coaching certification through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in 2011. Her continued explorations of holistic health practices brought to light the effects of toxins on our health and the power of essential oils in supporting the body in many aspects of health and well-being. Today, Debbie does individual and group coaching to support people in making healthier lifestyle choices. She is passionate about educating them on what we put on our body and what we put on our skin and what we use in our environment can adversely affect our health. She educates people on how to use essential oils and proper supplementation, along with lifestyle changes such as decreasing toxic exposure, proper nutrition, exercise, and stress management to create wellness for the whole family. She is certified by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners and is a Gold Wellness Advocate with doTERRA International. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Pizza. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Me too. You know, you've been a nurse for 25 years. First of all, I just want to thank you for that, because right now, every day, it just hits me about what heroes we have in the medical community, just the doctors and nurses, and I am so grateful for all those who do that. But I know you've had quite a journey, and I'd love for you to share with us what led you from being a nurse to being a wellness advocate.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I think that the nurses out there do an amazing job, and I think that it's a grueling position. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of weekends, nights, holidays. You give up a lot. And so, I did love what I was doing. But I know that I was not a healthy nurse. I had a history of smoking. I was a fast food junkie. I kept awake at night when I was working by drinking Diet Coke, and realized especially when I first got pregnant, that was not health. And so made some adjustments, started learning about nutrition, and then had some of my own health challenges. And the answer to that was given me was to be given a prescription. And I asked the question, what shouldn't I eat? And I was basically waved away and told that was not going to make that much of a difference. And with what I was learning and what I was changing, I just decided to go deeper into a more holistic way of healing my body. So that started my journey towards really teaching people holistic health.
You're also, I think some of your classes, you've talked about toxins of essential oils. Can you share a little bit with us about what concerns you about toxins and how you use essential oils to support wellness?
Absolutely. Essential oils have been around forever, and they are the natural parts of the plants, the seeds, the bark, and so the flowers. So those are things that can support and protect our body in many different ways. Toxins are something that I am passionate about. I was thinking this morning as I was listening to a nutrition talk, and they were focusing on macro and micronutrients, and I really want to talk about the quality of things as well, the things that are in our foods. And so when you look at essential oils, they can be used in so many ways and so many different layers to support our moods, to support our immune system, to help with little things like bug bites and our aches and pains. And there's just so many different, I call them a tool to use as our wellness. And so, if I have what I call head tension or neck tension, I'd rather use a little bit of peppermint on my area of concern than popping a pill that is going to adversely affect my whole body. So I love to teach people to really be aware that what we put in, on, and around our body, that's my tagline, affects our health just as much as exercise and nutrients and sleep and all of that.
Yes, absolutely, Debbie. And I actually have a little story about peppermint oil. I have suffered from reactive airways. It's been a long time. It's been more than 10 years. And once we were taking a flight, coming back home, and when the plane's, the engine is running, there's that smoke and that pollution, and it got into my lungs. And I nearly collapsed, and all I had in my pocket was some Altoids. And Altoids have a bit of that peppermint oil in them, and it opened my lungs immediately. And that led me actually to investigate more about essential oils. And I have found one that really works for me. And I think you know which one I'm talking about. It's the Breathe. It's called Breathe, and I think doTERRA makes it. So I learned trial and error firsthand. They can be very impactful. And also, like aromatherapy and things like that, they improve your moods as well, right?
Absolutely. Your mood. And one of the things that as a nurse that becomes very important to me, and why I partner with doTERRA, is because they look at and research. They go very deep into the research on essential oils and the quality, where it's grown, what the chemical compounds that are in the essential oils all make a difference. I always tell people, you can get lemon oil in California, you can get lemon oil in Florida, you can get lemon oil in Italy, and they're all going to have a different chemical profile. So looking at what and how it's going to look at our body. And doTERRA really takes a deep dive into looking at those things so that they can have the products, the essential oils that are going to support us the best.
Yes. And does it matter where it comes from, which part of the plant? I've heard something about, that whether you get it from the root, the bark or the leaves, or I guess it's that the properties change a bit, don't they?
Absolutely, they do. And the species are another thing that changes. But I'll give you an example of the citrus. A citrus has different parts to it. So you have the flower, and actually from that flower you get something called neroli. So that is a completely different oil than actually the orange oil or lemon oil, which comes from the rind. So you have a completely different oil, you have a completely different chemical profile, and it works very differently in our body.
Yes, and you were speaking of toxins earlier too. Of course, it has different properties depending on where we get it from, and we can use it for different things. But while you were talking, Debbie, this just popped in my head. I remember that I'm very sensitive to smells. Like I can't burn candles, and I can't spray like air fresheners and things like that because my lungs will just collapse. They will close up. So having essential oils has been very helpful because at least I know my body knows that I'm breathing in something just fine. And, and I get that extra benefit of that lovely smells. So I've been very appreciative since I've discovered these. Yes, because I just cannot, the sprays and the fresheners.
Yeah, a lot of times we hear the term fragrance or parfum. Those can actually have a very negative effect on our body. They can be hormone disruptors, and that causes a whole other issue within our body as far as toxins. I've had many people who have said to me, "Oh, I can't use scents, so I can't use essential oils," and it is not the same thing. So, what I like to do is introduce people to the simplicity of essential oils. It's a journey. There are many, many oils and many ways to support your body with them, but starting out simply, sometimes just as simply as a few lemon, lavender, peppermint, a couple of the basic oils, and then learn what people's bodies need and start to incorporate them. I talk about it as a lifestyle. So I use them to clean with. Right now, everybody is out there using all types of chemical cleaners, which we want to keep things clean, but also you have to think about what are those chemicals doing in our body. And so there are ways to clean naturally without having to get those toxins in us that are going to harm us.
And I understand we don't need a whole lot, right? Just a few drops in some sort of a base, right? In some sort of a carrier.
Absolutely. They're very concentrated, so it doesn't take much to do the job that you need. So it's a lot of benefit.
A lot of, and what about, and so the question I have, Debbie, because I know that when I'm working with people, different people have different reactions and responses, even to the same vitamin, for example, or the same food. So with oils, I guess, would you recommend starting with just a small, just a little trial to make sure that we don't have any reaction and if we do, then there's alternatives, right? Like you're not just stuck with one kind, like there are different ones that will do the same thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I'll give you two examples as far as the skin oil. Frankincense, which is one of my oils, which is very soothing. It's also a wonderful mood oil. It's great for our skin. And then something as simple as lavender, which again is very soothing. It's for some people, it's a great mood oil. It can be very relaxing, and it is also great for our skin. So similar properties, but they also work very, very differently. For some people, lavender, and this is very interesting, can be very stimulating actually, instead of relaxing. And there are some chemical reasons for that. The thought can be an imbalance in yeast in the body that might throw it off and actually have a opposite reaction. So if that was the case, then we could go something like frankincense or a different soothing oil, tea tree oil, or something else, depending on what you wanted to do.
Yes, thank you. Because I'm glad that I have friends like you that I can go and ask. Because I know sometimes we read something on the internet and it says it's good for you, then we go get a lot of it or we try it. And maybe it doesn't work. So it's good to know someone that can guide us because we still want to get that end result in the most natural way possible that we're trying to achieve, right?
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. Yeah.
We do a lot of continuing education with the people that we work with. We have actually, once somebody starts with me, have an 8-week continuing education course that continues to teach them how and what they can use the oils from, and I direct them to other resources. Besides for having me, I get many texts during the day. What do I use? What can you use? And so it's an education, and there's just a lot of support that's available with this.
And I appreciate your heart, Debbie, because if that's you're available and you're answering those questions. So thank you. But if we wanted to continue this discussion further, I have more questions for you. How can we find you? Like, where do we reach you? What's the best way?
So my website is very easy. It's Deb Orol. That's who I am, Deb Orol, and it's with an O, O-R-O-L. Many people switch that A because they want to do that. So deborol.com. I'm also a health coach, so you can find me at healthcoach@deborol.com. And I love to send samples out to people if they want to try, and just have a conversation as to what their needs are and how I can support them naturally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will have all those links in the comments and in the show notes. So if you didn't get it, you will have it there. And also, Deb, before we say bye, could you leave us with just a simple challenge, something that we could do, like a little baby step that we can take to improve our health?
One of my favorites, because it is about baby steps and making the changes. And I will go with our skincare and look at that. And so what I challenge you to do is to read your labels. I want you to look for a couple of things. I want you to look for parabens. I want you to look for sodium lauryl sulfate. And anything else that you may not be able to pronounce, because those are things that are going to have an ill effect on your body. So as I work with people, we start in different areas to look at what it is in there. And we can look at natural things like essential oils to support your skin and not have all those strange ingredients in them.
So that's a good exercise, right? Just going through our cosmetics and things that we're putting on our bodies and just reading the labels and figuring out how many chemicals we're applying every day, right? That's a good exercise. I do the same thing with the pantry too, Deb. I have people that I work with, we go through and read the labels and eliminate those big long names and long lists. So that's a great way to get started. Thank you. And everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening. And until next time, be well.
Thank you, Kush. Bye, everybody.